mean it no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born.
Welcome to Ladies of Another View on Back. I am Mary, and I'm joined with Carmen today.
Hello.
And we are bringing to you John Schneider and Keith Burns of Trick Pony. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you, thank you. Well, it's so great to see that. As we walked in, Matthew was playing the first season of Dukes on the television out there. And it's so funny. Sometimes it feels like that was 1978. That one that he just, actually 1979, the one that was on. And sometimes it seems like that, but most of the time it seems like yesterday.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy how that happens. I'm hoping that come November, all of this will seem like yesterday.
Amen to that. Make America great again.
Come November. So anyway, I'm glad to be here. Keith, I know Keith is glad to be here.
It's so exciting to see you both. And I know you kind of slid in late in the night, and it's been a long day for you.
I came in under the cover of darkness. Yes, I did. I got my GoPro.
Yeah.
Came in from Louisiana, and you know, they say God laughs while men make plans. Well, I had all kinds of plans to have a driver, and my bride was going to be with me, and just everything fell apart about 2 days ago. So, you know, you do what you have to do. So I got in a motorhome, and I pulled the merchandise truck or trailer with me, and here I am.
So when you say, okay, so you don't have a driver, did he fire you or did you fire him?
No, it's just, you know, life happens. So circumstances made it so he couldn't make it.
Got it.
And my bride has a broken back.
Oh my goodness.
So we thought she was going to be. She always, I mean, I play the guitar and I talk, and she's the one that makes all the plans and does all the business. So we got to Mississippi, and Alicia said, you know, I'm not going to be any help. I need to go home. Mm-hmm. So her dad came and got her, and that was about the only nap I had, was while waiting for her dad to come. 3 hours to but it's okay. It's great. I was looking at the dirt track. I love dirt track racing. Tonight are trucks, right? So we got, it's great.
So why don't
I
you
love all things dirt.
Tell our viewers exactly what you're doing in Bismarck and Mandan, North Dakota.
I'll be able to tell you exactly after I've done it.
Good comeback.
Right?
True.
We have a truck pull tonight. So that's trucks pulling things at the track at Dakota Speedway. And before that, I'm going to do the national anthem, and then I'm going to do some hot laps in my car, my open wheel modified, my B mod. For those of you who know what that is actually it's orange with an 01 on the side, General Lee on the roof, and yes, it does have the rebel flag on it, because without that. Hey! Oh, those are Matthew's cars. Look, you can tell he wore the paint right off of that.
Yeah.
And the General Lee is up in front, which is, you know, of course, where it should be.
Right.
But so my race car looks a lot like that. And also, I have a dear friend, Brad Johnson. It's actually his race car, and also the General Lee. I'm going to be taking people for rides in the General Lee tomorrow. That is his car as well, because I had to pull the merchandise truck here, or trailer, pardon me.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm going to be doing the national anthem tonight as well.
Wonderful.
That is awesome.
Which is important to me. I explained the national anthem. My gosh. I explained it. There we go.
You blew in North Dakota.
I did. I flew in. Oh, yeah. I've got more bugs on the front of my motorhome than I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
But that's a good thing, because we've been in a drought, and so to see bugs, it means we have moisture.
Oh,
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And I want to back up a little bit and get on to Dukes of Hazzard, because it was a big deal in my house when my kids were smaller. Oh yeah. And I have 2 Chihuahua grand dogs named after Roscoe P.
Oh, Roscoe.
Roscoe.
And Daisy May. So just so you know. And
I think that's great.
Yeah. But anyway, how did the show come about? How did you wind up with the lead part? Can you kind of get into a little of the history of the show for us?
The show was created by a gentleman named Guy Waldron, and he had heard a story about Jerry Rushing and I think his cousin Tom. I knew Jerry, I never met Tom. But these were two folks who had been moonshiners. Their family had been moonshiners way back to when Prohibition had happened. And Jack Daniels and Dickles and Jim Beam and all those families were kind of like the Dukes. But the difference is they somehow made a deal with the government figured out how to tax their skill.
Of course they did.
Yeah. So the reason why alcohol became illegal was not because anybody was worried about anyone's health. It was because the government was worried about how they were going to tax a substance that was made in a garage or a bathtub and then moved under the cover of darkness again to people. Very similar to what's happened with CBD and marijuana and all the cannabis products right now. There are a lot of people growing cannabis products that, or they were growing them when Nixon was president. If you were caught with a joint, you could go to jail for the rest of your life. And there are people, I'm sure, who are still in Attica because they were caught with a joint in the back of their VW when Nixon was president and we were driving 55 miles an hour, which of course made Sammy Hagar write, "I can't drive 55." So it was never about the health of the population, it was about the tax dollar. So he met this family, and there was someone who had come into their town and was selling drugs to children. I bet you didn't think it was going here, but they were selling drugs to school children and getting them hooked as pushers, we used to call them. Hoyt Axton wrote a wonderful song, Steppenwolf did. I won't tell you the name because it starts with G.D. the Pusher Man.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So Jerry and Tom's niece was hospitalized because of these pushers. Well, these two gentlemen, the later Bo and Luke, went to the store that these people ran, and they sold these drugs out of the back room. And long story, just a little bit longer, is that Jerry was shot twice, Tom was shot twice. Both of these gentlemen were the pushers were injured, and Tom and Jerry, it's funny, that's who they were. Tom and Jerry drove them to the hospital and instructed them that when they got out of the hospital, they were to leave under their own power, or they would stay under the ground.
Wow.
So they did. But Tom and Jerry were both shot, and they went home and took care of their own things. So this was a tremendous story of community. It was a wonderful story of people doing, you know, sometimes a bad thing is the right thing to do because it is, in a perfect world, bad things happen to bad people. So he wrote this story about it. It was called The Moon Runners, which was a movie way back when. Then he turned it into a television series. And if you go back and watch the first 5 episodes of Dukes, you'll see that it was much more a Southern Gothic show than it was a comedy. And it's where I said one of my favorite lines, and I never knew that at 62, this was going to be my mantra, is I choose this life. This is what Bo Duke said in the first episode. I choose this life, not because I don't know any better, but because I believe it is better. And I'm not going to let anyone pollute the well where I drink.
Amen.
And amen.
Yeah.
So Dukes came out right out of the headlines, right out of, I mean, I realize we're way up north here, but the South has gotten a really bad reputation.
It has.
By planned ignorant people. And we need to take it back.